and then we'll do a segment. This is a live performance where they lead and do their own thing. So Eddie will do a set, David do a set, and then the Temps will close it out. How's that? That was supposed to be their approach. You know, Otis come tell me and Richard, guys, they're not interested in you guys. So Otis says, so Richard was hurt. Richard was upset, which I understand because he was there from the beginning. Not just there from the beginning, but he was the one that taught Melvin how to do bass. He was Melvin's older cousin. Not only did he teach him how to sing bass, but Melvin was 13 years old when Richard went to Mama Rose and asked her, Mama, will you let Melvin Blue come out and sing with us? I'll look out for him. And she said, you take care of my baby. If you don't, you know. So he was the one that took up for Melvin, fought for him. Melvin used to get a whole lot of guys want to beat him up, jump on him, fight him because of his voice. Richard had street cred. You didn't mess with Richard Street. Richard Street had a reputation for what I hear. I don't know. You know, I wasn't in Detroit, you know. But he wasn't no guy. He didn't take a mess, which was cool, which was good. Anyway, and so Eddie was like, well, I'm not the tenor for the Temps anymore. Glenn Leonard is. So what do you do with these guys? I mean, I'm not opposed to doing this, but I'm not going to take food out somebody else's mouth. I said, now that's character. That I'm thinking here now. See, everybody else ready to throw us away, right? And I'm saying, the one that they thought wasn't going to be favorable, you know, was thinking about us. So Eddie said, I'll come back and I'll do a project. He said, but I am not coming back to the Temptations. Glenn Leonard is the tenor. He's the first tenor for the Temptations. And it's not right to do this way. He said, I understand the fans want it. I know what we mean to the fans. I got a fan base myself. They love me being without you. He said, so we're going to give the best of both worlds. And I'm like, this guy not only can sing, but he got integrity and class. And that was when I just, in my mind, I had the ultimate love and respect. Because he showed me that, and I ain't nowhere in his category. You understand? I mean, with success, I can sing, but I haven't had the success he had. Usually, guys, when they're up there in the ozone somewhere, they ain't got time to consider all what's going on down here among the peons and all that kind of stuff. He was mindful, thoughtful. David was good. David was smart in that David didn't say much. He rode on Eddie's wisdom. David said, whatever you say, Eddie. And that was the way it went. So, but Eddie was the one that stood up. That's what made me really, really love him even more.
I don't want to say, I don't know if it's maybe the first rehearsal or the first actual recording of the song, but how did you know that, Eddie is not the same Eddie, and I might or might not have to take the workload?
Wow. It was as though he would get hoarse a lot. So I would say, Ed, just pull back. I'll cover it. And naturally, to put together something like that, it takes a lot of rehearsal, a lot of work. So by the time we got ready to go on the road, the wear and tear was starting to be visible. So I think we were at the Apollo, and it wasn't sounding good on his segment, and we tried to, me, Otis, and Melvin, we tried to do some background things, or even just some things off stage to kind of help it. And so when it came out, when they came out to do the original Temptation set, I told him, I said, listen, I can hear what's going on. He said, yeah, well, you know, it's gotten this way. So I said, I'll help you. I said, I'll set up a mic. I said, now I can help you with the back. I can help with the background. I'll pad the background parts. I can't do nothing for the leads because you know you got to do those. So you got to find what you can do, what you can't do. He said, yeah, I know. So that was what we did. That was what we approached it. The thing is, I never lost any love or respect for him. What I saw was as an honor. I get to assist, to help the man that encouraged me, that he's the reason why I'm even here. I saw it as a badge of honor. I don't often talk about it because I don't want to give the impression that I'm boasting myself or I had to help Eddie Kendricks. No, I didn't. Eddie Kendricks is Eddie Kendricks. I don't care how he may sound or how he sounded at the end. And it was obvious that the people loved him beyond all of that. I can remember him standing up there not able to hit the notes. And women would say, that's okay, baby. We know what the note is. And I'm like, wow. So that was a real sensitive piece of my experience in history with the text is the connection with Eddie.